Rod. Man, we are back for another episode of the Fin Out of Water Football Show. Fin Out of Water Football Podcast. Fin Out of Water NFL Show. The Fin Out of Water Hangout Spot. And you already know the deal. I am your host with the most be Herbo, and I got my brother from mother Rod Man in the building with me once again. The chat is already lit. We already got people in the chat. The homies is here. Shout out to the homies is here.
Shout out to the homies, man. Thanks to everybody who is tuning in. We appreciate y'all always,
Appreciate all of y'all, man. So, Rod, man, we have a loaded show today. As anybody who's seen the thumbnail, man, this is the Miami Dolphin Training Camp observation, the first one of 2025. I could officially say it. We are back. Football is here. I could smell what Mike McDaniel is cooking. Welcome, Rod. It's football, baby. We back. We up.
We back.
We back.
Yes.
I ain't gonna lie. As a content creator, I'm so excited. We actually got stuff to talk about, man. Like, we actually got stuff to talk about, man.
Get through the dark days, man. West
man, what up, man? Shout out to the homie West in the building, man. Shout out to the homie West in the building, man. So, True in the building. True is in the building. You already know, man. All right, man. So let's get into it, man. This today's podcast, man. We got a couple things that we're gonna do. So obviously, we're gonna go ahead and talk about and recap week 1 of training camp. Rod has a whole dissertation that he has to get off. You feel me? We also are gonna go around the NFL in total, right? So I have a top 5 training camp tidbits. They're not Miami Dolphins related. You feel me? Rod is gonna handle that. I'm gonna look at the macro, look at the NFL as a whole, and then we're gonna go ahead and give more of our division previews, and we're gonna break down the NFC East, aka the sassy passy division, man. That division is sassy, man. There's always something going on in that division, boy. Always, man. But before we get to that, we have to go ahead and get through this, man. So this is the Nerd Corner. Guys, I know you're here for football, but I wanted to do something, just to get this off my chest. It's going to be here really brief, man. I have a spoiler-free review of Fantastic Four, super short, solid movie, really fun, and I appreciate that movies are back. The theater was packed. There was not a seat that was empty. You feel me? It was fun to actually see people going out and enjoying movies again. This has been a great summer for blockbusters. I went to see Jurassic Park. I went to see Superman. I've seen a bunch of movies this year. And I really haven't had a bad movie experience yet, man. So this ain't even really a review about the movie because you haven't seen it, so we really can't get into it. But I would definitely recommend anybody who goes see it if you are interested in Fantastic Four, man. Herb seal of approval, man. All right, man. That's it. That is it, man. That is it. What do you think about our DB signings? Yeah, if they can stay on the field, that's it.
Don't worry, Wes. I'm going to get to that, man. I'm going to get to that.
All right, so Rod, go ahead. Before we get into that, is there anything you want to get off your chest before we start talking some Dolphins?
Listen, man, if there's anything I want to get off my chest, Herbie, I just wish football was starting next week, right? Like, it's funny, Herbie, because for those who are new to the channel, we have a lot of new subs, man. Shout out to all of y'all for growing this community. But we normally, like, when we started this a couple years ago, we usually skip the offseason, right? Like,
we skipped the offseason 100%, like, entirely. Because it was more of a hobby. Like, we didn't really lock in. It was just, okay, something to do during the season. But we understood the value of, like, consistently putting out content. And we ran into this the first year of doing it in the offseason. And, boy, that dope was not pure. It was stress. We stepped on the dope. We was cooking that dope like Hunter Biden, baby. We was stepping on it, man. So yeah, man. But sorry to cut you off. Go ahead and finish your thought.
No, man. Look, man. I'm just glad that the major signs that football's coming back are finally in motion, right? We got training camp underway. We're already through the first week, right? So it's just a matter of time until preseason starts. Joint practices are going to start. So I'm pretty much excited for every step of the way. Up until the season starts. So
Nah, me too, me too. So let's do this, man. Let's go ahead and answer the homie Wes's question, and then we're gonna go ahead and get into your observations from what you got from training camp, man. So Rod, what do you think? Yeah, man. Hey, Hunter is a crack cocaine scientist, man. That man was breaking it down like he was
he was
oh
Walter
06
White.
Gucci, man. Like he was Walter White. I'm like, that man loved his crack. Holy moly. But let's answer the homie's question, man. And we're gonna put it back on the screen. What do you think about our DB signings, Rod? That is your team. Go ahead and handle it. Unfortunately, rest, rest in peace to the knees of to Kohu. Rest in
Ernie Burns too, man. He just got here.
Ernie Burns, like it was already very, very thin at that position group, and it just got a little bit thinner, man. So the floor is yours, Rod.
Well, and here's a disheartening thing too, Herbie. Kader Kohu is arguably the guy to play nickel for us, right? So hopefully, I actually don't know the extent of his injury. I figured he would be back before. I know Artie Burns is out, but I thought Kader would come back towards the beginning of the season and whatnot. I don't know how bad his injury is, but to answer your question, Wes, I think the Dolphins did about as decent a job as they could do for the signings. And the reason why I say that is because the guys that we signed were either solid in another location, like Mike Hilton with the Bengals, or Jack Jones is a player who he's kind of like a high risk, high reward type of guy, to where he's a playmaking cornerback, and that's something that the Dolphins were sourly missing last season, right? Like we didn't have much of a playmaking element on defense. We really haven't had that since the loss of Xavier Howard. So when you look at guys like Jack Jones and Mike Hilton, obviously they don't scream, awesome cornerback tandem. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we need bodies there, right? At safety, we'll be fine. We have Milfamu, we have Minka, who I'm going to get to shortly with how he's looked in training camp. But I'm okay with the signings given where we are right now, right? The beauty of the defense that we have, a lot of people don't realize that the Dolphins were a top 10 defense last season, whether people realize it or not. And we're in a second year under Weaver. And we have a strong front seven, especially at the D line, which I'll get to when we start talking about everything going on in camp. So I think the signings for now, given an ideal situation based on how the defense may play, for now we'll be all right. Like the Dolphins are still going to have to work some things out. I'm not saying that we are set at a position, but we need bodies in camp right now, right? And at least a guy like Jack Jones is a boomer bust type of player. At least a guy like Mike Hilton has veteran experience and has been a solid cornerback in this league. So I'm okay with the signings for now. You know what I mean? Until we figure something else out.
Okay, so let's go ahead and just go on transition and just have a full on Dolphins conversation then, man. So Rob, we are 1 week into training camp. I'm just so excited to say that. I'm so happy to say
Beautiful.
that. Oh my
God.
Beautiful. So we are 1 week down in the training camp. Next week is going to be full pads. So it's going to be much more closer to actual football to see these dudes in pads, to see how they are moving with pads. So before we get into like the whole macro training camp and just the whole season, how do you feel about the Dolphins and what are your observations and what have you been able to glean and learn and inquire about the first week of training camp package down in Miami Gardens, my guy?
So this first week of training camp, Herbie, obviously coming into this season, look, at the end of last season, I think me, like many other fans, I was dejected, right? When you leave the season on a sour note, it kind of rides with you up until the offseason. But the beauty of football is the offseason is so long that we have time to heal, right? You have time to get over whatever pain, whatever. And the beauty of football too, Herbie, is that football is a sport, maybe one of the rare sports where a team's fortunes can change at the drop of a dime, right? And the Dolphins are a team that has experienced this in the past. We went from a 1-15 team in 2007 to an 11-5 team in 2008. Now, there's a lot of context and other variables involved in this, obviously. But football is that kind of sport to where if you're a fan of a maligned team, even if things weren't good for you the previous year, there was real deal hope for next year depending on moves that were made. And look, the feeling that I'm getting through training camp, Herbie, the Dolphins players especially did a lot of talking this offseason about changing the culture, about making sure that guys that there's more leadership. And you know what? Based on things that have been reported and things that I've read and seen, it seems like it's there's truth to it, right? The reason I say this, Herbie, is because you know, for example, Tua has been holding Tyreek Hill accountable, right? Like on day one, they were asking Tua questions about Tyreek being reintegrated with the team, and Tua just kept it a buck, And some people didn't like what he said, but Tua was basically saying that, look, everything is a work in progress because at the end of the day, Tyreek's antics did affect the team while he was away, right? And I like seeing Tua have the cojones to be like, yo, man, like, what I'm saying? He's got to do his part to work his way back in with us, right? And it's even shown in camp that Tua and Waddle have really had a really, really good connection between the two of them. But Herbie, Tua and Waddle were two guys who, I expect to do well, right? The problems that these guys have is that they deal with injuries, right? Waddle is often banged up. Tua, you can write a book on this dude's injuries. But the things that I got out of camp were the things that I was really looking for, Herbie, right? Jalen Wright has impressed in camp, Herbie, which is something that sounds really good. Like, it's really good news to hear, right? And even better than that is Devon Achane, Herbie. As the days progress in camp, he's becoming you're hearing more and more of his name, him creating explosive plays. And a lot of that, Herbie, is also due to the fact that at least the first string offensive line, despite the absence of Aaron Brewer, who's on the sidelines right now, he'll be back to play to start the season, but he's dealing with his own things off the field. But Patrick Paul, Herbie, our left tackle. I mean, he got real deal wins. Now, granted, no pads yet, but he got some wins on Chop Robinson. He got some wins on Bradley Chubb in practice, right? He's looking better than he did last year, right? Jonah Savanea, they've slotted him at the left guard, and he's been moving bodies, bro. He's been creating lanes, Herbie, and that was something we were desperately in need of, especially when you consider we had turnstiles like Liam Eichenberg and Robert Jones at the guard spot. So it's refreshing to hear that our running backs are actually getting running lanes in camp. And here's the thing, Herbie, the Dolphins defense is going to be better than I think people think. Granted, the cornerback situation needs to get worked out, but when you look at the three-headed monster we're going to have at pass rush, Jalen Phillips is back, Bradley Chubb is back, Chop Robinson is back, and they've all been making noise in camp, right? Shout out to Hammer, fins up, baby. You know what I mean? So we got our three-headed monster at the pass rush. Still got good linebackers in Terrell Dodson and Jordan Brooks. And then and the guy who's making waves in camp, Herbie, that you love to hear about is Minka Fitzpatrick, right? I think I want to say it was in yesterday's practice. He caught a nasty pick on Zach Wilson, who on a pass intended for Taj Washington, right? And it was a great read on the play. He was at the line of scrimmage, dropped back in coverage, boom, caught a pick. And Minka's been making plays all training camp long so far, and it turns out, is a really good fit for Weaver's defense. And the beauty of Weaver's defense, Herbie, is the fact that Weaver is the type of defensive coordinator who likes to mix and match his coverages. He likes to mix and show different fronts, show different disguises. He likes to put different guys in different situations. So, he throws a lot of different looks at opposing offenses that kind of keep them on their toes. And when you have the pass rush that we are capable of having, when you consider the fact that Chop Robinson, I think, is going to take another step in his development, when you consider the fact that Jalen Phillips is back and Chubb is back, I think the defense is going to be better than advertised. And because I think we're great on the back end in terms of our safeties. And then, we're great on the front end with our defensive line. And then I didn't even bring up Zach Sealer and Kenneth Grant, Herbie. Like, I think the Dolphins on defense, especially in particular in the passing game, I think we're going to really, really, really give teams some problems, man. Because I think our pass rush is going to be a lot more ferocious, especially if the guys can stay healthy, right? And look, shout out to Wes, man. I'm high on Ollie too. I think Ollie will make a great third down, goal line, short yardage back for us, which we are in desperate need of that, bro. We've been in desperate need of that, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah, but things so far, Herbie, and when it comes to training camp and the Dolphins, look, it's the guys going up against their teammates. There's only so much that they can reveal, but there's been a lot of good. There has been a lot of positives to look forward to.
All right, so first things first, before we go ahead and I address something, man. Shout out to Ralph, man. Shout out to Raffy, man. Like Raffy always showing love, man. You heard what the homie said, man. Hit that thumbs up, hit that like button, man. Let's run these numbers up, man.
Hit that like.
Beauty. This is the beauty of building something, bro. This is the most people that we've had in the chat, live viewership since we started this, bro. We seeing the building blocks come to fruition, man. So shout out to all the homies, man. Shout out to all the homies, man.
Facts,
you already know you got to get them air horns and that clout, man. Okay, so Rod, I appreciate the very detailed observation and the reaction and everything that you just talked about, man. So that leads me to ask you a simple question, man. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this up right here, man. Talking Dolphins. Oops, hold on. Rod's 2025 confidence meter. Rod, what was your confidence meter at the end of last season? And what is your 2025 confidence meter heading into this season after week 1 of training camp, sir?
If I'm being candid with y'all, my confidence meter heading into the offseason after a piss poor campaign in 2024, it was a 3. Like my confidence meter, if this is a scale of 1 to 10, my confidence meter was a 3. My confidence meter was a 3, Herbie. No hope, man. They ripped the hope out of my gut. You know what I'm saying? Like the Predator. But look, man. When it comes to after and Rafi, and just to answer Rafi's question that I seen, Herbie. Listen, I'm not really worried about the Mike Hilton signing just yet. I mean, hopefully, I hope Cater's injury is not an extensive injury. Hopefully, we will get him back sooner than later. But we're just gonna have to make do with a guy like Mike Hilton, right? Like, I'm not saying he's going to be some awesome corner. But I believe with what we have around him, he could be solid enough, right? When you consider the pass rush, when you consider the backup he has at the safety spot. Look, we are in trouble at the corner spot. There's no denying that. But they're going to have a lot of help around them at the minimum. So I think Mike Hilton, at least for now, we can make do with that. In terms of my confidence meter after week 1 of training camp, Herbie, it spiked up a bit, man, because you know what it is? It's hard for me to keep that doom and gloom. It's easy to keep the doom and gloom when nothing's going on because I'm just sitting with the feeling that I left off with, right? But now, seeing especially some of the plays that we made, and then one thing I didn't even mention, Herbie, is that I think our backup situation is not going to be great, but it's going to be better, which makes me happy.
Way better. It
makes me happy.
If you are at the pits of hell, anything is a positive at that point. You can literally only go up, right? Like, this is going to be very morbid and very nihilistic, but I was having a conversation, and guys, this is gonna be awful. This is a terrible analogy. It really doesn't make sense, but it's perfect for this conversation. I was having a conversation with somebody, bro, and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought about committing suicide, and after I didn't do it, I've been the most happy I've ever been, bro. Because if you gonna kill yourself, you ain't got no choice but to go up from there, dog." And I was like, that's rough. But that's basically what the Dolphins backup quarterback situation was, bro. Like, if you were literally probably the worst in the history of the NFL, bro, Zach Wilson has to be an improvement, dog. Like, Quinn Ewers has to be an improvement.
Yes.
Right?
Because Skylar Thompson and Tyler Huntley were not.
I never in my life want to see Skylar Thompson play professional football in the NFL ever again in my life. I never want to see Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley was on his couch watching Thursday Night Football like us, bro. Like, and they got him in the NFL. I never ever shot him that "hey girl" text like you up. Mike McDaniel shot Tyler Huntley you up text, bro.
Shot him the eyes, man. He shot him the eyes. 2 eyes, too. When you see 2 eyes, they really want it. They say you too honest, man. They really won't.
Bruh, so I never ever like they sent that man a hey girl, what's you up? Like, what's up, man? I miss you,
Shout out to the
Techno.
homie Cap in the building. Man, the OG's
Everybody here,
out there,
man. All right, man. Let's get some of these comments right here, man. Cap, you already know, man. You already know. You got one of the OGs of the chat, man. Air horns for the OG.
Hammer. Hey, you know what? I haven't even had a chance to watch Ryder's video on Hilton yet.
So let me go ahead and let me read this one out here, man. Shout out to Hammer, bro. Hammer, welcome to the family, bro. We appreciate you so much, man. Ryder put film on Hilton, said he was a dog, 185-pound wrecking machine, man. So, Rod, react to that, to what the homie Hammer said.
Listen, man, Ryder is one of, if not the best Dolphin tuber, on YouTube in terms of just the valuable information you can get about Dolphins players because he does such an excellent job being meticulous, breaking down film. If Ryder says he's a dog, I'm right. Hey, that makes me happy. You know what I'm saying? I'll take the opinion of someone who's really knowledgeable about the game. So appreciate that, Hammer. I'll make sure to check out that video when I get a chance because Ryder is always putting out good stuff, man. But I don't even think I got a chance. That's what it was, dog. But look, man, if I were to talk about, and this is going to be quite of a leap, and maybe it's too big of a leap, but I don't think my confidence meter will move from this point. But as of right now, my confidence meter just jumped all the way up to a 7, Herbie. It's a 7 now.
All right. 7. Okay. Listen, I respect it. I rock with it. It is. And honestly, bro, I'm gonna do the same thing. Like, I've just been applying this to my life personally, and I think we've been applying it to the show recently as well. Why wish for the worst? Why think for the worst, bro? Like,
right?
Like,
what good is that gonna do?
What good is that gonna do? You might as well be positive about this, bro. Like, we done dedicated a large portion of our lives loving these teams, bro. Why not be positive, bro? Like, why lean into the negativity? Why lean into the despair? Why lean into the basement, dog? Are we going to end up at that point in time somewhere at any point of the season? More than likely. But it doesn't help to be that way for the whole process.
Right. You got to live the lie a little bit, man.
You got to live the lie a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit,
you know, Stockholm Syndrome, man. That's how it works, man. Sports Stockholm Syndrome, man. So, all right. So let me go ahead and transition over. So now let's go ahead and have a macro conversation. We still going to keep, Dolphins talk and whatnot here and there. But I want to talk about just the larger NFL as a whole. And I have my top 5 training camp tidbits. So these are non-Dolphins related. This is just the NFL in general, man. So first tidbit, man. Travis Hunter. Just let that man play cornerback. Like, every time they put that man in quarterback, all I see is clips of this man making play after play after play after play. We have a generational cornerback trying to masquerade as a gadget wide receiver, dog. Like, I'm not trying to put a cap on what his potential is. Let that man be the greatest football player that he can be. But it's obvious that he is significantly better at this point in time at one side of the field in the NFL, not college, than he is on the other side, man.
But Herbie, here's the thing: it's not like they're gonna pay the guy 2 separate checks. It would suit him to just pick one. They're not gonna pay him any extra for playing both. It's like, dude, pick one, man. Like, I don't know. That to me. That's just going above and beyond. That's called being not. It's above your pay grade, Travis.
Way above your pay grade. Way above your pay grade. And then before we get to the next tidbit, I've been seeing a lot of NFL players who, Travis Kelce said this, Richard Sherman said this, a lot of people have said this. They say, yeah, let him play the whole game. You know what we finna do? We finna have a number 4 receiver and just tell that number 4 receiver run 9 routes the whole game, bro. We finna wear his ass out. Like we finna wear you out and now go guard Justin Jefferson, man. Good luck, bro. Yep. All right, next tidbit, man. The Colts. The Colts do not have a starting quarterback on the roster, bro. We just put a fork in it, man. Put a fork in it, man. That steak is very well done, man. That steak is well done. That grilled chicken is overly cooked.
Dang,
Put
Herbie
a
saying
fork.
the culture stir fried.
I got you. Here go a tidbit from one of the beat reporters from the Indianapolis Colts, man. Richardson completed 4 of 14 passes in 11 on 11, despite taking more than half of those in the red zone, man.
Oh, oh,
he's going basketball shooting percentages in 11 on 11 in training camp.
and a bad basketball shooting percentage of that. That's a bad.
No love. I got you. You want to know? You want to know what Daniel Jones did? Daniel Jones went 5 for 14, bro, in the same setting, bro. They don't have a quarterback, dog. They don't have a quarterback over there, man.
You know what you just reminded me of? Putting Daniel Jones stats right next to AR-15 stats, Herbie, just it reminded me of. You remember that website Bum Fights? That's what it reminded me of. Reminded me of E-Bomb's World and Bum Fights, man. Because wow, woo, Indy, y'all in trouble.
A lot of trouble. If Daniel Jones is supposed to be your backup, if Daniel Jones is supposed to be your backup plan, your quarter in your back pocket, you are grits. You are grits, my guy. Like, for real, man. For real. All right. Next up, Bears. The Bears, if you are a Bears fan, slow down, relax, temper expectations, because the offense has not been looking all that good in practice, guys. Caleb has been throwing picks, miscommunication. The things that we wanted to blame Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron for, they're still doing it with Ben Johnson. So maybe Caleb might have had more to do with why his rookie season was so disappointing. Now, it is up and down. But from what I've gathered, they've been doing a lot better. They've been doing, it's a progress. It's a new system, and that's what training camp is for, to learn through the kinks, get all the negative stuff out before September, right? And that applies to the Dolphins. That applies to any team in the NFL, whatever your favorite team is. Hammer, I got you, because that was that. There you go. Next tidbit. All the rookie quarterbacks, Cam Ward is making special plays in practice. Like, he's making special plays.
Showing the signs early.
He's showing the signs early. He's showing the signs early. Bro, there's a play. Anybody who is interested, it's all on social media. You can find it on Twitter. You can find it on YouTube. Cam Ward drifting, rolling out to his left, threw across his body about 40 yards down the field on a line and stride to Calvin Ridley, bro. Put it on the money. And then there's another play that he threw to, I want to say, TJ Lockett, in between 4 defenders, bro, up and over the linebacker in front of the cornerback's face, right, and then made it drop in front of, and protected him because he threw him out of bounds, dog, in front of the safety, bro.
Damn, the rookie hitting whole shots in training camp?
Whole shots.
God,
whole
damn.
shots. Whole shots.
Damn,
Penix, I haven't really. So when it comes to Penix, I wasn't focused on the NFC South. Was not focused on the NFC South. But I will tell you that this in regards to JJ McCarthy. If you guys want to go ahead, and we just had a video that we uploaded about JJ McCarthy, bro. So you guys could watch it. We have all our thoughts. But I will say this about JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy he's the quarterback that's designed for training camp. He's the quarterback that's designed for practice, because he is fundamentally flawless as a quarterback when it comes to throwing mechanics. He will win every throwing mechanic competition there is, bro. There's nothing we could glean from that. There's nothing we could learn from that when it comes to JJ McCarthy, because if you go back and watch his college tape, which we discussed on the previous episode in one of our clips, he makes a lot of mistakes. And there's a reason why the Michigan Wolverines kept the ball out of his hands. I don't know the great quarterback that wasn't allowed to throw in college that was a great quarterback in the NFL. Hey, but I will be proven wrong. But he does look good. I was actually reading up on him today. A lot of people are excited about him. He throws a very pretty ball, man. Like,
he does, bro.
He throws a very pretty ball.
We discussed it on the previous pod, man, but you want to talk about there's a lot of teams in the history of the NFL. Like, for example, Cam Moore didn't go into the best situation, but we see that he's special, right? Like right now, he's showing
Has
signs.
the has the capability, because we
Right,
don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But
right, right, right,
he's shown what a special quarterback could look like.
right. And JJ's on the opposite end of the spectrum, Herbie, to where he's in a situation to where the same kind of situation that people try to detract from Jalen Hurts and try to detract from Brock Purdy. JJ McCarthy is slotted into an ideal situation when you look at the offensive line, the receivers, the running back, the coach. He has every tool at his possession to succeed, and he has the talent to succeed extremely well. So I'll be looking forward to his development, Herbie, moving forward. I'll probably start keeping more of an eye on the Vikings myself, because they are a team that is extremely talented.
Nah, for sure. So let me go ahead and answer this question for the homie Ralphie, man. Who is going to start in New Orleans? Carr is retired because he hated them so much, so it's definitely not going to be Derek Carr because he retired. He said, "I would rather not take the guaranteed. You could keep your $48 million. I don't even want it, bro. I'm done with y'all." Rattler's gonna start, but more than likely you're gonna see Tyler Shuck. Like, they had Rattler. Rattler has the talent to be a starting quarterback, and they still drafted Tyler Shuck. That tells you everything that you need to know how they feel about Tyler Shuck. So Tyler Shuck is gonna start at some point in the season for sure, man. Baldy, you saw Baldy? Did you see his finger? Baldy got one of the nastiest hands in the history of the NFL, man. NFL, man, be jacking up your fingers, man. Be jacking up your fingers,
you
man.
In the trenches, man.
Ralphie, if you watch Derek Carr at Fresno State, you are ancient, my brother. You old. You was old. You was an old man. You old like us, brother. But yeah, back to the other rookie quarterbacks, man. So Jackson Dart had the welcome to the NFL moment out the gate. First official pass in the NFL was a pick six, man. You can't like you Jackson Dart, based off of who you are, based off of who you feel like you took an opportunity from in Shedeur Sanders. Your first pass, dog, cannot be a pick six, bro. A pick, forget it can't be a pick. Definitely can't be a pick six. You feel me? It can't be a pick six, dog. Like, people already think that you are a avatar for white privilege, just getting drafted where you got drafted over who we expected to get drafted at that spot. And you throw a pick six, fam. Now, granted, based off reports, they say he finished strong. Today actually was their final day. They said this was the best day that he's had. But up until that point, he was looking pretty ass. So Jackson Dart, man, I am praying on your downfall as an NFC East fan. So more pick sixes for you, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you, dog. Praise be to football Allah. So, and last but not least, Shedeur Sanders, man. Shedeur. So the funny thing about Shedeur is awesome, and he's very misunderstood because he's like the perfect person. He's extremely cocky, but he's extremely humble in the situation. Like, he's been super humble with the Cleveland Cavaliers because he understands and appreciates the Browns, my bad. The Browns, because he understands and appreciates the hierarchy of a football team, because he's learned that from his dad. Like, he takes rookie hazing, he lets people rank on him, he's carrying pass, he's doing all that stuff, and he's not doing it to show face or, you feel me, to fit in. He's doing that because he actually believes that, because he actually believes that's what you're supposed to do at that point in time if you're a rookie in the NFL. He knows the history of the NFL. He knows that's part of the process. And he's making it really hard on the Browns to cut him, because for whatever reason, the Browns do something that you're not supposed to do, which is have 4 quarterbacks on your roster. The football teams don't carry 4 quarterbacks. Somebody has to get cut. You signed,
even 3 is a stretch, but you got 4.
3 is a stretch. You got 4. We have to look at the mathematics here. You signed Joe Flacco, who's already a city hero, based off of what he did 3 years ago. He's going to make the roster. You traded assets for Kenny Pickett. Why? That's up for Jimmy Haslam to understand. We can't understand that dude, bro. His brain works on a different capacity than normal humans. So I can't help you.
Jimmy Haslam is a flat earther, man. Just call it.
You drafted You drafted Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round, and then you drafted Shador in the 5th. Dylan Gabriel, even if he's not better than Shador, if it's close enough, you're more than likely going to go with him because you drafted him with a more premium position in the draft. So, despite Shador looking really good, he had 3 touchdowns in his last practice. There's a possibility that he might not make the roster. So, yeah, Browns got Joe Flacco as well, man.
Yeah, Rossi. They listen, man. They got
bro. Jimmy is playing chess while we are playing checkers, man. He's playing a different game, bro. We don't see the board the way he do.
Quarterback room. All right, he hates you like that shit. All right, it's crazy.
So, I'm definitely gonna follow that story. I think he's gonna make it because he's too popular. He's selling too much jerseys. Like, you have to keep him on the team. The last time, and I'm not making this comparison, don't get it twisted. Last time we seen a team from that I'm familiar with keep 4 quarterbacks was the 2000 Patriots because Tom Brady looked too good in practice. They had to keep him. They made space for him, right? Now, I'm not saying that about Shador. He's obviously not. But he is making it to the point where they have to take him. So I'm going to follow that situation. And last tidbit, man, this has been one of the more... Oh, matter of fact, thank you, Hammer. We could get to that. Rod, I completely forgot about that. Let me get to this tidbit. And Rod, I'm going to get your opinion on the Christian Wilkins thing. Are you familiar with it?
No.
So you didn't... you didn't know he got released by the Raiders?
No. I did not know
that.
Yeah,
man. So, yeah, he got released by the Raiders. And, everybody been saying, man, shout out to basement dweller Chris Greer, man. Man, if you injured, man, he coming to come shop, man. They say, Christian Wilkins might come back to the Dolphins. You can't come back to the Dolphins unless you got like 2 injuries, man. Chris Greer don't want you.
You want to talk about a clearance player shopper? Chris Greer is that, man. He shops on clearance all the time, man. Crazy.
All right, man. Last tidbit before we get on. I want to go ahead and talk about this very, very, very interesting hold-in season, man. It's the new era of holdouts, man, a.k.a. hold-in, because these dudes do not want to pay $50,000 a day. So they just come... They come to training camp, don't do anything, and then they get put on the pup list, man. That's what happened to Terry McLaurin. That's what happened with Courtland Sutton, with Courtland Sutton's practicing. And you got your guy with the Dolphins, right? He's practicing. Yeah. Not Waller. No. Zach Zeller.
Oh, Zach Zeller. Yeah, he's practicing.
Yeah, he's practicing, bro. So, and then you got Michael Parsons, man. So this is hilarious, man. The hold-in. The era of the hold-in, man. You feel me? We got some big dudes, man. Michael Parsons, Trey Hickerson, Terry McLaurin, James Cook. You a running back, dog. Just take your ass, bro. You not.
Take that L, bro.
Just take that L, bro. Take that L, bro. Take that L, man. Take that L, man. All right, man. Let us go on, man. So let's get on with the NFC East season preview, guys. Now, I know y'all here for the Dolphins, but hey, man, listen, we done got all the Dolphins talk out, man, so we just going to have some full football conversations, man. So, Rob, who do you want to start with, brother?
Well, Herb, I think it's only right you start with the Super Bowl champs, right? Get them out the way.
God, man. Get them out the way, man. Say what you got to say about them and just keep it moving, man. Please, bro. I hate them dudes so much, man.
It's the Cowboys in you, man. That's all. It's the Cowboys in
you. He is a holdout, Raffy. He is a holdout. Trey Hendrickson is by his money, man. He is a holdout.
He ain't playing. He's not gonna be that team player, good sport.
He is a holdout. Micah Parsons is probably gonna come. He's probably gonna report and be a hold in. Everybody else for the most part is a hold in. James Cook is practicing. Courtland Sutton is practicing. You not finna see Trey Hendrickson. That boy is staying his ass.
He wants his money.
He's staying his ass home. All right, man. Get on with these Philly Eagles, man. What you got to say about these dudes?
The Philadelphia Eagles.
You ain't had to do all that, dog. You ain't had to put that extra sauce on that, bro.
Like, listen, man, Herbie, look, listen, man. When it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, what can you really say about these guys, Herbie? In terms of all 32 NFL teams, if there is any team that is in position to get back to the heights that they reached, it's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles, right? When you consider the fact, look, in the offseason, they did lose a few guys, right? You have Brandon Graham, he retired. Josh Sweat ended up leaving and going to the Cardinals. Mekhi Becton left and went to another team. But they still have 4 out of those 5 starters on that offensive line from last season coming back, including a future Hall of Famer in Lane Johnson. They still have the great Saquon Barkley. They still have A.J. Brown. They still have what's his name? Devontae Smith. They still have Dallas Goedert. And most importantly, they still have Jalen Hurts. So when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles from an offensive standpoint, Herbie, we're going to get more of the same in terms of what the Philly can do on offense, right? They have they can dominate pretty much on every level of their offense, right? They can, if they want to run the ball all over you, they can do that. If they want to throw the ball on you, they can do that. Now, they don't do that a lot with Jalen Hurts, and it's not because he can't do it. It's just because they don't have to, right? When you have the fat boys up front that they have with an electric player like Saquon, it affords you that option, right? And then you look at their defense, Herbie. They did lose some guys on defense, right? I already mentioned Josh Sweat. They lost Milton, right? They lost a few guys on defense, right? They lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. But the Eagles, and this is where a ton of credit goes to Howie Roseman, the GM, right? Because he did such a good job of acquiring talent and adding depth that even when the Eagles lose talented guys, they still got talented guys left. You still have the terrific tandem of Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. You still have Zach Bond, who you drafted Jahad Campbell, who he was one of the linebackers that I was really, really like. He was one of my favorite prospects when I was looking at, the draft guys, earlier in the offseason, right? And you're gonna pair him with Zach Bond, who had an outstanding year last year, who came back to the Eagles. I think they were thinking about letting him go, but he played so well last year they decided to bring him back. And then, of course, Herbie, you can't forget about those guys in the secondary, those young players. When you look at Cooper DeJean, who was just completely awesome in his first year, Quinyon Mitchell, you know what I'm saying? They added who did they add in the offseason? I know I wrote it down. They added Adoree Jackson because they did lose a few corners. They lost talented guys like Isaiah Rodgers and whatnot at the cornerback spot. But Herbie, the Eagles are in as good a shape as any team in the NFC, Herbie. They are still the most talented team in the NFC, and they are now at that level to where, Herbie, they are the team in the NFC that has the championship air, right? The Chiefs in the AFC are the team that has been carrying that. But if you really look at the Eagles the past few seasons, they went to a Super Bowl a couple years back. They lost. They started 10-1 in 2023, and because their defense had a lot of holes in it, they tapered off towards the end of the season and lost to the Bucs. But they started 10-1. And now you look at them in 2024, they were once again one of the best teams in the NFL, and they won the Super Bowl, Herbie. And the foundation is in place. The culture is in place. All the key figures needed to have sustained success are there. So when I look at the Eagles, Herbie, I'm sorry to spell doom for you, but I think they're going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC again. I don't know who is going to rise up from any of these divisions that's going to really be able to topple them, especially when you consider the fact that they have a majority of their talent returning. A lot of these players are young and they're only going to be better. And they have the championship aura around them to where it's just like they've been there and done that. So when they get into these playoff situations that they were already good at excelling in, they're going to have even more confidence. They're going to have even more bravado. So, the Eagles, Herbie, they're going to be as terrifying as any team in the league. Maybe their offensive line takes a hit because Mekhi Becton left, but they still have tons of other talented guys. It's just, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. The Eagles are probably going to be the best team in the NFC again.
All right, so first things first, we got some new people who might not be familiar with the dynamic of the show, like, i.e. Hammer and a couple people that might be in the chat, right? The reason why you're seeing me, a person that is on a Dolphins-centric podcast and such discuss, it's because I'm not actually a Dolphins fan. I am a former, keyword, former
you still a Cowboys
Dallas Cowboys fan. So that is where this
discussion
discussion is coming from for anybody who might be confused. Like, what's his problem with the Eagles? I hate them. I hate them. But I seen something in the comment, you feel me, that I had to highlight, man. Shout out to what Hammer said, man. Jalen Hurts doesn't wear his ring because he didn't deserve it. Tuck your ish, Hammer. Tuck your ish, man. Talk your ish, man. Talk your ish, Hammer. He don't deserve that. He don't deserve that. Get out of here with all that, man. I'm going to say this before we move on to the next team. Raffy, we did the Lions last week, man. We got the NFC North last week, so we going through all the divisions, bro. Until the season starts. So
I think when he said Lions, I think he was like asking compared to when I said the Eagles could be the best in the NFC. I'll be honest with you.
My apologies. I'm sorry.
No, but to your point, Rafi, the Lions, and I spoke about it on the last week's show. I don't even think the Lions are going to win the division, and it's not like I think they're going to be bad. The Lions, I think, are still going to be a playoff team for sure. It's just with the Packers and the Vikings and possibly the Bears, it's going to be a tough division, right?
Super tough.
So, the Lions and then Washington, I think Washington will improve. And, obviously Herbie's going to get to that. But at the end of the day, I still think Washington just doesn't have enough. When you look at the total rosters, even if you feel like Jaden Daniels is better than Jalen Hurts, different people are going to feel differently about this. But if you feel like at the quarterback position, Washington has an edge, they don't have the edge anywhere else. So at the end of the day, it's going to take Washington some time in order for them to be able to reach the Eagles. No matter how great Jaden is, Jalen Hurts is still a top 10 quarterback, right? Like, I don't, he took his shots.
I'm sorry. That made me throw up.
He is.
I'm sorry.
He
is. He was in our top 10. He was 8 on our ranking. So it's just having to acknowledge that makes me sick. I'm going to say this before we get into to Washington to answer Rafi's question. The thing that's going to separate the Philadelphia Eagles from every other team outside of the Baltimore Ravens, and even above the Baltimore Ravens, as we've seen last year's playoff run, they have, man, Hammer, man, shout out to my brother, man.
Okay, hell.
My brother, man.
You got coach here, man.
I found my tribe, man. You good in my book. But the thing that the Eagles have that we haven't seen in a long time is that the Eagles have an ability to close games without throwing the football. Yep. It's going to be a point in time where they're going to just say, forget all of that. We're not doing no play action. We're not doing no slant route. Forget all that. We don't care. We're going to give this ball to 26, and he's going to get 5 to 6 yards, and there's nothing you could do to stop it.
Nada.
And that is going to be the hardest thing to deal with. They could be down 10 points, and they'll still run the ball. They're still going to run the ball.
They have to for that.
That demoralizes you in the playoffs when you're not as fresh, your legs are not as fresh, the sores hurt a lot more. You're in the cold because you might have to go through Philadelphia. You don't want to hit. You don't want to tackle. You don't want to do none of that. And you have a offensive line pushing you 5 yards down the field, and you have a maniac that's jumping up and turning around and hitting backflips in the air at running back. They have the best closing situation in the NFL. They have the best closing situation that I've seen in some time. Like, a very long time. So they're going to be very, very hard to deal with. Very, very hard to deal with. But to answer, hold on, right here.
Randy,
how do I feel about Joe Milton practicing the option, doing the pitch for them boys? Might as well. Like, if you got Joe Milton, figure out what you can do. Like, figure out. See, the problem with Joe Milton, and this is why it didn't really make sense for him to get for us. I'm sorry, for the Cowboys. I said us. Disgusting. Sorry. For the Cowboys to trade for him is because Joe Milton is fundamentally 100% completely different as a quarterback than Dak Prescott. So why even get somebody like that? But it is what it is, man. Let's go on to the next team, man. Washington Redskins. So the Washington Redskins are the 2025 version of the 2009 I want to say, was it the 2009 Eagles? The Dream Team Eagles? Was that 09?
I think it was like 09, 2010, around that
Yeah,
time.
something like that. This has the potential to be that version of that team. I think it's not because I really, really believe in Jaden Daniels. We had him as a top 5 quarterback coming into this season. Like, I really believe in Jaden Daniels. Like, to see what he did last year, the cool, the calm, the resolve, the just absolutely unfazed by everything. I think he'll be able to overcome what I could potentially see as a very, very overrated offseason, dog. Sophomore slump. This man said just own it. I
Don't
don't
lie
want
to
to.
yourself.
I don't want to, True. I don't want to. Sophomore slump for Jaden Daniels. Maybe, but I think they did. I think they went a long way to prevent that by trading for Larry Tunsil. Was Larry Tunsil as good as he was in the past? Not necessarily, but Larry Tunsil was significantly better who they had at left tackle last year, right? But if you actually just look at the additions, this is what happens when you have a young dude at quarterback who's way above schedule. It makes you think that you're closer to something than you really are. Yes, they did get to they got to the NFC Championship or the second round?
It was
It was
NFC
second round.
Championship. Yep.
NFC Championship, right? So you're like, oh, we're very close. We're very close. Debo Samuel, that man running like he got a piano on his back, man. He doesn't make you that much closer. Michael Gallup doesn't make you that much closer. Like, Javon Kinlaw is a good defensive tackle. He's not going to make you that much closer, right? Like, to me, this hinges on Marshawn Lattimore and Laramie Tunsil. If you have a dominant football player at cornerback, which they had one of the worst secondaries in the league last year, you're going to get better. If you have a dominant left tackle, you're going to get better. But I don't think that Washington is going to get significantly better, right? Nah, y'all need to watch Debo in practice, Raffy. You need to watch Debo. Debo is going 5 miles per hour right now, man. It looks pretty. It looks pretty. He's trying, but he's not going nowhere. He's strong. Strong with a K. He's strong. But it ain't really going nowhere. I just think it's gonna be a situation where it might be a team that they thought they were better than they were based off of the situation, right? The Cowboys had an injury. The Giants were really, really bad. There really wasn't that many teams in the NFC because by the time the Lions got to the playoffs, half of their team was on IR. And then Sam Darnold did what he did in the playoffs, right? So there really wasn't a hard path to get to the NFC Championship. They got to the NFC Championship because Jaden was awesome and, but things had to go in their favor. The offseason that they had doesn't make them that much better. I don't think they're better talent-wise than the Vikings. I don't think they're better than a healthy Lions team. I don't think they're better than in this version of the Packers with everything that the Packers did. So it is going to be interesting to actually see what this team is. They just got a whole bunch of names, but I don't think that makes them elite. We're going to see how great this team is. And this team is literally going to be based off of how good Jaden Daniels is. It's not going to be because the team is actually all that much better, in my opinion. So that'll be interesting, man.
I mean, you know what, Herb? I mean, I to be honest, I agree with what you said, right? Thinking about the moves that they made, right? Like, is Dietrich Wise and Jacob Martin really going to make a difference? Javon Kinlaw is not somebody who ever did anything, right? And they signed him. So,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not. And then, you had Brian Robinson and Eckler last year who didn't do much. Granted, Robinson was dealing with injuries. So you hope that Robinson is healthy this season, and that should give you more of a boost at that position. But like you said, Herbie, you look at the defense. Yeah, they have Lattimore and Saintstra, which make a strong cornerback pair. But when you look at the rest of what they got going on, and of course, Frankie Louvu, man. Can't forget about him. They added, they have Bobby Wagner and him. They'll make a great tandem. And Frankie Louvu,
but even with Bobby Wagner is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's 35, dog. Like, and they already had the 31st ranked rush defense last year. Like, swapping Jonathan Jones for Javon Kinlaw, and when it comes to run defense, it makes you marginally better. So it's just, I see the hype coming into this. Yeah, he is old, right? Like, he is old. Right. But I see the hype because of where they finished last season and because of theirs. And of course, there's going to be enthusiasm. You only think you're going to get better. It's the NFL, bro. Everybody's getting better. The NFC is objectively better, and we could get to it with the next team. We're like, get your jokes off, but as crazy as this sounds, Russell Wilson makes the Giants better, right? A healthy Dak Prescott makes the Cowboys better. You know, all it takes is 1 or 2 games, and you might go from a second or third seed to a sixth seed, right? So, it. I just don't think the Redskins are as good as people think they are. It is purely hype based.
Well, you know what
As
it
of
is?
now,
It's based on the development of Jaden, right? Like if
right, 100%.
is
Because
Jaden
if he's a top 5 quarterback, then none of this even matters.
right?
None of this matters because he's gonna make everybody on offense better than they have any right to be anyway. Because that's what top 5 quarterbacks do. Um, hold on, let me get some of these, man. Oh, Zach Ertz, yep. I think the boys are dark horse in the East. All talk is the champs in the skins. Rod, I had to digest that one. I'm sorry. My apologies, dog. Let's transition over to the New York Giants. Actually, I was gonna think about if I wanted to go ahead and talk about the Cowboys, but I was like, no, we'll save it for last. So let's go ahead and what you got for when it comes to the New York Giants, man?
Well, look, man. Listen, the New York Giants, Herbie. If I'm uh, the the New York Giants, I don't want to say they don't have anything to be excited about because at the end of the day, they are a better team than they were last year, and a part of it is Herbie. The Giants, the way I look at the way this team is, right? The Daniel Jones era was purgatory. The Daniel Jones era was them was Giants ownership and the front office not wanting to admit the massive mistake they made, the massive whiff they made on picking Jones just because he was Eli's lookalike. Now, of course, they decided instead of getting an Eli lookalike, we'll just get a guy too who went to the same school. We'll get a guy from Ole Miss. All right, cool. But this is what I'll say about the Giants, Herbie, because I don't think in any football situation there's any team that doesn't have anything. So I'll start with the things that I think the Giants can look forward to, and then the overall picture of the Giants. Number one thing the Giants can look forward to: Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors was fantastic last year when he played, and he had Daniel Jones looking like a way better quarterback than he was. He has a top 5 receiver in this league potential, regardless of who the quarterback is throwing him the ball. It just so happened he's going to have Wilson throwing him the ball, so that helps. Tyrone Tracy is another thing on their offense. When I was watching some film on the Giants, he wasn't a guy I was too familiar with because I haven't played fantasy football in years. But when I was watching highlights of Tyrone Tracy, I said, well, damn, they got themselves a really freaking nice running back. So when you look at their offense, they do have a couple of skill position players that can make something happen with the veteran quarterbacks that they have. The problem with the Giants, though, is that their offensive line has continued to be a problem, right? Andrew Thomas, when he's been healthy, has been a really solid tackle. But when you look at the rest of their line, they have too many questions, and they didn't really do, in my opinion, a great job addressing all of that, right? So the Giants' offensive line will always be a massive question mark for them. And when you look at Jackson Dart, Jackson Dart as a quarterback, based on what I know of him from college, on the little I've watched of him, he's a guy that he's accurate on short to intermediate throws. He has some touch on his passes. He has some athleticism. He can extend plays. He has physical tools that you would want in a quarterback. But he played at Ole Miss, Herbie, and they don't run a pro style offense. So you wonder how much of the scheme at Ole Miss really helped him look better than he was, right? You wonder about his ability in the pros to anticipate. And then when you look at it, and he's not someone who's ever really performed well under pressure in college. So in the NFL with a bad offensive line, whatever pocket presence or whatever little pocket presence he has, it's not going to look good if the offensive line doesn't hold up. But the crazy thing about the Giants, Herbie, is that I don't even think they're not going to be a good team, but they're going to be enough of a nuisance because I think their defense got a lot better. When you look at the defensive line, Herbie, you could make a solid argument. On paper, they have one of the best D lines in football. When you look at Brian Burns, when you look at Kayvon Thibodeau, when you look at Dexter Lawrence, when you look at Abdul Carter, who has the opportunity to be a Micah Parsons like player.
When I tell you this, I've been watching film on the Giants because leading up we did the research, and not to cut you off, but I got to get this in there.
Go ahead, brother.
Abdul Carter has been wrecking training camp. I mean, wrecking. There is one play in particular. It's going to be hard, but look up Abdul Carter and put bend. It is one of the fastest bend moves I've ever seen. It was a blur. It was to the point where I said, yo, if I was the right tackle, I'd be like, bro, what you want me to do, bro? This man turned into a cat.
Nimble as hell. It's disgusting.
He spin move. And mind you, this is him coming off of foot surgery. He's not even fully healed. He wasn't even supposed to be in training camp because his foot is not completely healed. So he has room to grow physically. So he's going to be a monster. And true, I know you up there in New York and you got a whole bunch of people who are Giant fans who've been following. Abdul Carter is going to be a problem for a very long time. If what we're seeing in training camp transitions to actual games, yeah, bro, he's Michael Parsons 2.0 for sure, potential wise, man.
Right, and think about this, Herbie. You already have Dexter Lawrence, he's
the best defensive tackle in football.
Right, and he's great in pass rushing and run stopping. Right, he's going to demand a lot of attention. You already had Brian Burns. You already had Kayvon Thibodeau. Now you add Abdul Carter, who is the unknown, who's the guy who's probably, at least to start, going to get the least attention. The Giants' pass rush is going to be terrifying. And then you look at what they added in the secondary. Right, that was one of the worst things about them. They got Javon Holland, who, despite having a down year with Weaver last year, prior to Weaver, he was one of the better safeties in the league. Mm-hmm. They get a Debo from the Saints, who was a talented, really solid cornerback. So when you look at the moves they made on defense, Herbie, their defense last year, whether people realize it or not, they ranked 8th in the pass last year. Yeah. They ranked 9th in touchdowns last year. And yeah, you can make the argument, okay, teams got up on them early. And, if you add that context, maybe teams didn't have to throw as much on them. But I in a 17-game span, Herbie, to be ranked 8th in passing, I think that means something, no matter how much people try to take away from it. And then you added an even stronger pass rush. You added better players in the secondary to shore up weaknesses on that side of the ball. So the way I look at the Giants, Herbie, you have Russell Wilson at quarterback. They have a few skill position players. You have the defense that you're going to have. Although they, to me, are likely to be the worst team in the East when you consider, where the Eagles are, what we believe Washington to be, the talent that the Cowboys could put together depending on the health of certain guys. You look at the Giants, Herbie, they won't be, and the messed up thing about it too, their schedule is, Herbie, bro, for a last place team, that shit it's not fair. Like they have one of the toughest schedules in the NFL next year. Even when you just look at it, they get the Eagles twice, first of all. They get Washington twice. They get the Cowboys twice. I actually have the list here. Here are the other games they have. They play Kansas City. They play the Chargers. They play Denver. They play Green Bay. They play Minnesota.
That's rough.
They play San Fran.
That's
Herbie,
rough.
The Giants are in for a tough season. But if I am a Giants fan, what you're really looking forward to is the develop. First of all, they're going to throw Russ out there, and he's going to be the one to deal with all the problems with the offensive line. We're going to see where the offensive line is early, right? So Jackson Dart won't be killed right away. But if the offensive line performs a little better than they think, I think they should throw Jackson Dart out there and let him get some reps because he's the guy that you're going to, you invested the first round pick in him. He's going to be your future. But if I'm a Giants fan, look, the Giants are going to be a nuisance of a team. They're not going to be one of the better teams at all. But because of the defense that they carry, because of some of the skill position players that they have, they're going to cause problems for everybody they play. And, listen, they might end up playing spoiler down the line towards the end of the season, which will affect tiebreakers, which will affect positioning. That's what you can hope for.
That is what, if you're a Giants fan, anybody who's a Giants fan that came across this video, what you want to do, your goal this season is to just say, hey, maybe we could screw one of these guys, right?
Yeah.
That is the goal, to play spoiler. See how good your defense is, make it really hard, have a lot of competitive games, and play spoiler, man. So that is what y'all should look forward to when it comes to the 2025
That pass rush
Giants,
is
man.
going to be a problem, man.
It is going to be a problem.
It's going to be a problem.
It's mathematically impossible to guard everybody on that D line, bro. Like, if you take Kayvon Thibodeau and make him the 4th best pass rusher, he's immediately better. He's not a number 1 pass rusher. He's not a number 2, but he's a hell of a number 4. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to double Dexter Lawrence, so that's going to free up him. You might have to double Dexter Lawrence and potentially Brian Burns. So yeah, bro, for sure. All right, man. Last but not least, let's talk about the Bum Boys. Let's talk about the Dallas Bum Boys. Them boys. Rod, let me explain something to you, Rod. Let me give you the pulse of my fandom, right? Like, you know who I am right now when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, man. There's a saying. You familiar with the saying when it comes to women? They say women have broken up with person, like they broken up with the dude they dealing with 6 months before the actual breakup. Like,
yes, sir.
That's where I'm at with the Cowboys, man. Like, you want to know how disconnected I am from these bums? Like, you know how when you do something to a woman, like we all boys here. We all been dealing with women, right? You know when it's really over when you do something that normally pisses her off, and she's just like, okay, you're like,
she done.
She's done. Like, she's out of here. Like, she's gone. Like, it's over. Like,
she already started talking to that next dude. On the wait list. The next man up is up.
It is over. Like, they already been caking and planning their trip to Turks and Caicos. Like, it's over. That's where I'm at with these bums, right? Like, I don't care. Nothing you can say. Like, normally, I shake my head when I look at who going into doing the research and be like, bro, really? I looked at who these guys got, bro, and I said, so? Right? Like, how can I care about a team that is going to force Brian Schottenheimer to be a play caller when he hasn't been a play caller since 2020, bro? Like,
poor decisions, man. Poor decisions, man.
Y'all got Brian Schottenheimer, and then y'all went and got Matt Eberflus to be the defensive coordinator. And shout out to Matt Eberflus, terrible head coach, one of the worst head coaches we've ever seen. He's a damn good defensive coordinator. I will not take that away from him. But so, like, the Cowboys just continue to live off of the idea of the Cowboys, bruh. This is not a good roster. Like, shout out to the homie Randy. I am way more bullish than I was going into the season in regards to us trading for George Pickens. Because my opinion, you cannot bring a YN to Dallas Fort Worth. You can't put that man in that kind of environment. But from everything I've read, George has been very, very good. Obviously, it's a contract year. He wants to get paid. But instant connection with CeeDee Lamb. Them dudes are not like George. I just think he didn't want to be in Pittsburgh anymore. Even if he's not getting the ball, I think he's going to be really, really good because I think he has a great relationship with CeeDee Lamb. I think the Steelers just didn't have enough people on. I think that situation was too confined for a person like George. You got to let George be George. Jerry Jones is going to let George be whatever George wants to be, bro, as long as he produces, right? So I think George is going to be good. I think that is literally the only highlight of the team, though. I don't believe in anything else. Y'all got to think about this guy. This is a team that had Ezekiel Elliott getting rushing attempts in 2024. This is a very unserious organization, guys. Like, this team did not do anything to improve, bruh. You traded for a backup quarterback that does not run the same thing that your starting quarterback runs. So if he gets in, you're going to have a whole different system. That's one. You didn't address the running back room. Javonte Williams is not a savior. He is not your savior.
Not a savior.
Miles Sanders is not your savior. Yeah. That is two. You sent the hey girl text to Dante Fowler Jr. You let him go for a reason. You send the eyeballs to Dante Fowler Jr. Dante Fowler Jr. is not your savior. That's three. Trayvon Diggs. might be gone for half of the season.
Yep. All you have is DaRon Bland.
All you have is DaRon Bland. And DaRon Bland was, I'm not going to, no disrespect to the young bull, but he's clearly was a one-season wonder, bro. Like, okay, all right, Randy, my bad, dog. Randy, you talk, you ain't got Randy. You talk, I'm with you. Like, you will never see a locked-in Dallas Cowboys fan like me, bro. I know. You could be a YN. Now, Michael Irvin, that is a good point. Michael Irvin actually might be the godfather YN of wide receivers, bro. We didn't ever really now that you think about it.
Like, he was like the antics he pulled. He was
Michael Irvin was the OG YN.
He's the OG YN, bro. He was the YN before we could even conceive of YNs, nigga.
No, listen, Randy, I know they're gonna thrive, right? Like I said, George, I actually think this is a better situation than the Steelers because there was too much structure. George is a you got to let George be George. They gonna eat, bro. If Dak is healthy, they're gonna eat. I'm not concerned about that. It is the defense I'm concerned about. It is the running game I'm concerned about. It is the special teams I'm concerned about. It is the coaching I'm concerned about. Because at the end of the day, and last season was pretty much the final straw for me when it comes to being a Cowboys fan, and this is the reason why. When they hired Brian Schottenheimer, it was the true wake-up call that Jerry Jones refuses to hire a coach that will challenge him. If you cannot challenge Jerry Jones, there is a cap on what your team can be.
Yep.
That's just the reality of the situation.
Yep.
There's going to be a cap. Brian Schottenheimer was a career coordinator for a reason, man.
That coaching situation is just not ideal, man.
You got to think about this. You are the son of one of the most legendary coaches in the history of football, Marty Schottenheimer, and nobody wanted to give you a job.
In a league full of nepotism at that.
In a league full of nepotism? Brian Callahan's son got a job, man.
Yep.
Bro, you get a job if your daddy was a coach, man. And nobody wanted to give him a job until Jerry said, F it, I'm going to give him a job, right? Like, I just can't believe in these dudes, man. I've seen it all. I've seen 13-3 seasons. I've seen 14-2 seasons. I've seen everything, bro. And you know what it results in? Not making the NFC Championship game, bro. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. And this is not even me being pessimistic. This is just me reacting to what is being put on the field based off of what they have done in this offseason so far. Like, I'm just going to read some of the key additions, guys. Kevontae Turpin, a key playmaker on special teams. That's what that's the third person they talking about on Chat GPT, dog. A special teams player, dog.
Wild.
Like, career.
Wild.
Kaiir Elam ain't saving nobody, man. He might not even see the field, man. Solomon Thomas, one of the biggest busts that we've seen in recent times.
Terrible.
Like, this team is not good. This team is not good, guys, right? Like, we are going to see a very mediocre football team play every Sunday at 4:25 Eastern. I promise you. Like, previous season Cowboys, they were disappointing because they were actually talented. This is not a talented team. Like, when you pay people, you're going to lose talent. This is a mediocre team with a $60 million quarterback. This is a mediocre team with a soon-to-be $45 million edge rusher.
Yeah, they're doing all that drama with Micah. You know they're gonna pay him.
This is a mediocre team with a $30 million plus wide receiver and another potential $25 million receiver as number 2 in George Pickens. There is no helping this team. There's no way out of this mess. I saw the house on fire, and I kicked the door down and ran out that mug. All right. So, yeah, man, that is all I have to say on the Dallas Cowboys heading into 2025. It is not a good football team. This team has 8-9, 7-10 written all over it, bro. But we can leave from there though. Rod, any last words before we get out of here, man?
Listen, Herbie. I'll say this, man, because I'm pretty sure any Cowboys fans that stumbled upon this, you gave them no hope. Uh, the one, the one thing I can say is that at least you guys get Dak back, and with Dak in the lineup, you'll be able to win some games, right?
Oh, for sure,
With Dak and CeeDee Lamb, and because that's who you're going to be relying on. You're going to be relying on Dak with the two receivers to really get you through games because of what you lack in the running game. Because the Cowboys' defense is an odd defense, Herbie. Because you look at them last year, when it came to pass rushing and getting sacks, they were
first in pass rush.
Yeah,
30th in defense.
Exactly. They're an enigma. It's like you're one of the best, if not the best, pass rushing team, but you're 31st in points and 28th in yards. Like, huh? Where they do that at? You know what I mean? But look, listen, with Dak playing, Herbie, the Cowboys are going to be in a lot of games. It's just that if you have expectations of them being any more than what they've been, you should probably temper them.
Absolutely, man. All right, man. All in all, man, Rod, another great show. Everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to
the homies.
Shout out to Randy. Shout out to Cap. Shout out to True. Shout out to Raffy, man. Shout out to everybody
Shout out to Hammer, man. Shout out to Randy.
Shout out to everybody, man. We appreciate y'all. I'm looking at the number go up. I'm looking at the live viewership go up, man. We thank you guys so much. We do this because we truly love it. When we truly love the community that we're building, and you guys give us the energy. So if you like this episode, if you like what we're doing, trust me, you're getting this for the whole season because now we actually got football to talk about. Oh, my God, I'm so excited. Let's go, man. Let's go, man. So we will see y'all. Ooh, guys, we are going out of town. We're having a boys trip, so we may not do an episode next week. But we'll see if we're able to record before then. We'll go ahead and put a community post. But as of now, we do not have an episode for next week. But we'll see y'all in 2 weeks, man. Deuces. Oh, I done turned the thing off. My bad, y'all. Adios.